Today we're really going to explore something about objects that are really large as you import them and how to resize them and make things work for you. So let's head over to Cricut Design Space and we're going to start a new project. And inside this project, obviously you can see all the pieces and parts of the screens, but we are coming over here to upload. Now in upload, I have several images inside of here that we can take, and I want to show you a couple of things about the resizing. So let's grab this one. This is a digital paper 14. This is from our Dragonfly Dreams kit that you can find at betsmakes.com shop. Now I'm going to bring it into the canvas. Now obviously if you take a look at the ruler up here, it goes from 0 right over, and I'm going to have to scroll over just a little bit, and you'll see that it is approximately 17.5 inches wide. And of course the depth here, we're going from 1 inch all the way down to 23.5. Now it'll fit on a larger mat going down, but across 18 becomes really large at the same time. Now there are a few things you can do here, and I'm going to show you one or two that will work for you. Now one of them of course is to come over here and simply type in my maximum width, which is 11.5, and you will see that that is going to now fit on a 12 by 12 cardstock. The biggest problem with that is the fact that, of course, you still get this little exclamation mark here because this design is for a print then cut. Now print then cut is a really important part. So let's come over here. I want you to click on the little red image too large button. Now there are a couple of things we can do here. We can go over and change the page, or we can auto resize the image. Let's start with auto resize. Now this is going to fit on, of course, 8.5 by 11 because that's what I'm set out for. So if I clicked on make, I'm not going to save this one. I clicked on make, you'll see that it's going to fit nicely on an 8.5 by 11, and it'll do a print right then and there. Now, when I go to hit the printer, of course, it'll make a difference between the kind of printer that you are going to be using. The one I have is an Epson, and it's an XP 15000, and it does borderless printing. So this will print out like this, and then it'll cut out on my Cricut, but I can print it other ways to get a full sheet. Right now, this is all you need to know for this. So let's just cancel this. Now I'm going to undo that resizing. There we go. It's a lot bigger. I'm going to undo it one more time. Now, before I click on this, I'm going to click on it and it goes, okay, let's change our page size. So right now I have it on mat at 12 by 12 and it's set for 8.5 by 11 letter. Now I can come straight through here and make a change for what I want, but I may still get the exclamation mark depending on what I pick. Now a lot of printers will do 8.5 by 14, but they won't go any wider. So let's pick on our 8.5 by 14. And of course, if it's going to be longer, I'm going to go on a 12 by 24 mat. So I've changed a couple of things in here. I'm just going to click done. Now I'm still getting the exclamation mark, even though I've got this. It still wants me to click on auto resize. Now you'll notice it's taking its time to think about what it wants to do here. Let's go back here. Auto resize. So as you can see, if I've changed the page size in this way, it really doesn't pick it up right away. So what I really need to do is come up here and go to settings. And of course, I'm going to go to load type And even though it has changed here to 8.5 by 14 on a 12 by 24 mat, it's still not giving me exactly what I want. So if I change this again to another size, it will go ahead and give me the same impression. But the problem here is the fact that even if you change it here, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work here at all times. I want to auto-resize this, and it's not going to do it for me, and that is pretty typical. So what I can do here is I can just go for the width. We have 11 by 14, so I want to put 6.75. And it's locked, so it'll give me the appropriate size now. If I take a look here, you'll see that the exclamation mark is gone, and I have a size that's going to work for 8.5 by 11. Now, if I just unlock this, I can drag it down. So even if it fits 13, even though I'm stretching the design, look at what I get. I get another one of these, image too large, and it goes, I want 6.63 by 12.26. Now that's an interesting thing, 12.26 for this particular image. So I need 6.63. What happens now when I click auto resize? It goes away, but it has another little warning here, low resolution. Well, I'm not going to worry about that right now, but now I have a paper that is going to fit. So let's take a look at make here, and you'll see it's gone on a longer mat here. And it says material size 8.5 by 14, and the material load type here does not show. It just says on mat. So it hasn't given me a different mat per se, it just says on mat. So I can put in the larger mat that I want. I can do an extended mat. It doesn't really make any difference. Now it's going to do that print then cut. All right, let's cancel this one. And of course, I don't want such a big image, so I am going to delete this for now. I'm going to come back here to upload, because the other thing we have to take a look at are things like ephemera that we bring in. So let me just bring in this one, Digital Ephemera 14. And of course, that is from our Butterfly Fantasy digital paper kit, available at betsmakes.com/shop. So I'm going to add that to the canvas. Now it's giving us a huge size here, but the thing is, this is different parts and pieces. And now I can cut these out or just simply have them cut out the way they are. Now if I cut them out the way they are, I'm still going to click here. It says image too large. I'm going to auto resize the image. And now I have something, of course, that is 7.431 high and 8.83. And here's the interesting part. So if I click here, it says low resolution, but it is not. We've kept our resolution really high with it. Now, if I go over here to make at this point, it's going to put it sideways, so it's going to fit within the mat. Now, you'll notice that we have the material size because we preset it to 8.5 by 14, and it will give us the lengths that we can use for this. Now, 8.5 by 14, we can go larger, of course. Well, I don't want that, so I'm going to click cancel here, and then I'm going to undo that size. So let's go back over here, and this time I'm going to go back to change page size. So I'm going to go back to my 8.5 by 11, and 8.5 by 11 is going to fit on mat on a 12 by 12, and that looks perfect. That's going to be done. Now, when I have this particular item, the resize is going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to auto resize this. And then when I go out to the mat, let's go back to make. It's going to go sideways, but it's going to be able to print on one sheet. Now it's going to cut around the various edges here, and of course the two postcard piece they're butt up against each other, so it's unlikely they will cut, so you'll likely want to cut something like that apart. All right, let's click cancel here. All right, one more thing we want to look at. I'm just going to take this across here, of course, is to making sure things are going to size. I am going to break up just pieces and parts of this. Now, I'm going to magnify this rather than making it bigger. And that's just so I can see. As you can see, there's no definitive line here, just colors. So what I have to do is take my shapes. I'm going to grab a square, and I'm just going to bring the square down here, and I am going to unlock it. And this is just something to help you size things as well. I'm just going to bring it over so I can see it. It's going to line up pretty closely to what I want. Then I'm just going to bring it across here. Now I will be able to make this resized without worrying about the resized option. Now I've highlighted the rectangle plus the design in the background, and I'm going to click slice. Now I can get rid of the extra little frame pieces just hitting the delete key. And now I have my postcard out separately. Now I can do the same thing for this top postcard this time. So I'm just going to grab my shape, grab the square, unlock it, and then of course go over the top with it. Select both the rectangle and the item in behind. Click on slice. And this is usually pretty quick. And now I have the two postcards out separately. Now this is an interesting part with the postcards. Let me just scroll over here a bit. You'll notice, let's go right up to the top here, that this particular postcard is just over 5 inches long and 3 inches wide. Now that is a pretty big postcard, but you can just make it smaller by just dragging it in. Usually they're about 4 inches. Now let me just grab my other one down here and probably just drag this one up to 4 inches as well. So that's another way to size it without auto-resizing. Now the other pieces that we had on the go here, right over here, I actually don't need to do anything else with those. I can simply print then cut them just as they are. I don't have to resize. All right, to recap here, let's go back to our uploads. I'm just going to move these out of the way so we can just see one more time. I'm going to click on an upload. If I pick on one of my digital papers, let's grab this one. This is from, once again, the Butterfly Fantasy. It's digital paper 24, and that can be found, Butterfly Fantasy, at betsmakes.com shop. I'm going to add it to the canvas, and you'll notice how giant big it is. Now we want it to fit perfectly on an 8.5 by 11 because we're going to cut out that whole sheet of paper. There are other things we can do with this, but right now this is all we want to do. I'm going to click on auto resize. I do not want to change my paper size this time. I simply want auto resize. So these are your two options to make things fit. Sometimes you have to use both. Now I've clicked on that as auto resize. So let's see what it will look like when we click make. So you see it fits on one sheet quite nicely, and all the ephemera that I had planned for, here it goes. So that is what we have with, of course, doing the auto resize and how it can work perfectly for you.